You ever have one of those days where you just know the universe is messing with you? Like you step outside and bam, right away you see something so insane you wonder if maybe you're on a hidden camera show or the neighborhood's decided to punk you just for fun. That was me on a Wednesday morning I'll never forget. I walk into my backyard, coffee still warm in my hand, wearing socks with little holes in the heel, and the air feels weird. Kind of tense, like it's holding its breath. Too open. And I look up and yeah, there it is. A giant jagged hole in my fence. Not a missing slat, not a loose board, but a gaping wound big enough for a linebacker to stroll through without breaking stride. The boards, some of them still dangling, had been sawed clean. Splinters poking out fresh and sharp like whoever did it barely finished the job before sunrise. So I'm just standing there absolutely stunned, probably mouth open, trying to figure out if I'm dreaming or if maybe my neighbor's dog learned how to operate a power tool when I hear this rustling from the other side. And no joke, out steps Patricia Garrison, HOA president, self-declared queen of Maple Ridge Estates, and apparently aspiring demolition expert. She comes through the gap like it's a new patio door, not even pretending to be surprised to see me. She's got her giant tote bag on her shoulder, a tiny dog tucked under one arm, and this looked like she just found a shortcut to Target. She doesn't even slow down. She just mutters, "This is just more efficient," under her breath, like she's cutting through an airport and I'm the TSA guy checking her shoes. And then I swear she walks right across my yard. Not a pause, not a glance back, like she's walking a red carpet made out of my lawn. For a second, I just stood there, watching her, wondering if maybe I'm the one who's out of line, like maybe I accidentally put my fence in a parallel universe where private property is optional. Look, let me back up a second. Name's David Sullivan. My wife Sarah and we've been here in Maple Ridge Estates for 12 years, raised both our kids here. 8 years ago, we shelled out what I'd call an uncomfortable amount of money to put in that fence professional crew permits the works. It wasn't some cute picket for Instagram photos, it was for safety, for privacy. So the kids could play soccer without worrying about stray dogs or, runaway HOA presidents. It was our line, our boundary. I never imagined someone would just cut a hole in it. But if you've ever had a run-in with a homeowners association, especially one run by someone like Patricia, you know where this is going. Patricia moved in about 5 years ago. And I kid you not, it took her less than 6 months to grab the HOA president job like it was a seat at a game show. And ever since she's run the neighborhood like her personal fiefdom. Rules changing on a whim, inspections every week, little violation slips, never for herself, of course. Her yard, always perfect. No weeds, no missed trash day. She probably power washes her mailbox. The next morning, after my little welcome to the Twilight Zone moment, I knock on her door. I'm still not even sure what I'm going to say. But I needed answers. She opens the door wearing this pastel blazer clipboard like it's a sheriff's badge. And before I get 2 words out, she's already got her arms folded, chin up, like I'm the one who needs to explain myself. I ask her, trying to stay calm, "Why did you cut my fence?" And she says with the world's straightest face, "That fence illegally encroached on common HOA space. I restored access. The mailbox clusters on the other side of your yard. Walking around adds 4 minutes to my morning." She actually said that. 4 minutes. She vandalized my property because she couldn't be bothered to walk around the block. I try to keep it together. I say, "Patricia, that fence has been there for 8 years. It's fully on my property. You destroyed private property." She barely even looks at me. Just waves her hand, says, "The board discussed it. We have maps from 1987 showing a community easement. If you rebuild that obstruction, it'll be a $500 per day fine." Then just to twist the knife, she smiles and says, "Have a nice day," and closes the door. So, if you've ever wanted to punch a clipboard, I get it. The next week, everything goes nuts. I start getting official violation notices for non-compliant fencing and improper landscaping. Patricia's still using the hole in my fence like it's her new shortcut. Sometimes she even brings her friends. Once I saw her lead a little parade right through my backyard, chatting like they were at brunch. My neighbor Tom, who's lived here longer than anyone, pulls me aside and says, "She's been gunning for that fence since last year. Keeps calling it a safety hazard at HOA meetings. Said it blocks access." For context, there are 3 other paths to the mailboxes, all public. But no, my fence was in her way. That's when it hit me. Patricia wasn't enforcing the rules. She was making them up as she went. And you know what? She picked the wrong guy this time. So I quit arguing. I started documenting. First thing I did, I hired a surveyor. Real pro clipboard neon vest, those little sticks in the ground. He spends hours in my backyard measuring everything while Patricia's out there watering her lawn, which is really just code for taking 100 pictures of the surveyor with her phone. The whole thing felt like a low-budget episode of CSI Suburbia. Surveyor finishes up, gives me the results a few days later. Turns out, shocker, my fence is 3 feet inside my property line. Not on it, not over it, inside. No easement, no right-of-way, no nothing. I'm so relieved I laugh. But then I get mad all over again because honestly, it never should have gotten this far. That's when I bring in the big guns, my attorney, Jennifer. She's sharp. Looks over the documents, checks the maps, and actually laughs out loud. Says she used a map from before the neighborhood even existed. These are old farmland records. She destroyed your fence based on a map that's basically a piece of nostalgia. We send Patricia a formal demand letter, repair costs plus interest, almost $5,000. Patricia, of course, refuses. Doubles down, actually. Threatens me on paper, mind you, with $500 a day fines if I so much as put a nail back in the fence. So fine. We sue. That's when the real circus starts. Suddenly, Patricia's dropping cookies off at my door, writing awkward apology notes, even trying to talk it out. When I don't budge, she switches gears, starts piling on new violation notices. My trash cans are too visible. My grass is half an inch too long. My kid's sidewalk chalk art is apparently an unauthorized mural. Jennifer, my attorney, just files every single one away, adding them to our case folder. Court day comes. Patricia shows up full suit, acting confident, at least until the judge starts asking questions. Did you verify the property line before authorizing destruction? She's silent. Did you personally approve the fence removal? Her voice shakes. Yes. That's about all she can manage. The judge, God bless this man, doesn't waste time. He rules. Patricia has to pay the full cost of repairs, my attorney fees, and court costs, $7,920. But what really got me wasn't the money. The judge looks her straight in the eyes and says, "You abused your position for personal convenience. This court finds your actions willful and malicious." That moment, yeah, I'll admit it felt good. Like someone finally saw the whole game for what it was. But you know what happens next in suburbia? Word gets around fast. At the emergency HOA meeting, half the neighborhood shows up. Folks I barely knew stand up and tell their own Patricia stories, fines for trash cans, left out threats for holiday lights, late night texts about mailbox paint. By the end, there's this energy in the room like everyone's been holding their breath for years and suddenly they can exhale. The vote to remove Patricia as HOA president unanimous. Not even Patricia voted for herself. It got worse for her. Her boss at work found out she'd been sending HOA violation emails on company time. Company email, no less. She got put on leave. The HOA's insurance, yeah, they refused to cover any of the damages. Said Patricia acted outside her authority, so now everyone's premiums went up, including hers. Karma's got a real sense of humor. 10 days later, I get the check. It's real. I rebuild my fence taller, sturdier, and just for my own peace of mind, line the inside with thorny shrubs. No shortcuts, no exceptions. You know the funny thing, nobody's tried to cut through since. About 3 months after the court case, I'm sipping coffee in the kitchen, and I see a moving truck outside Patricia's house. She's loading up. She never so much as glanced my way as she left head down, probably thinking about 4-minute walks. The new HOA president, nice guy, actually ditched the old maps, refunded all the bogus fines Patricia had racked up, and made one rule clear as day: HOA power stops at the property line. Now, when I step into my backyard, that fence isn't just a fence. It's proof, real physical proof, that sometimes the little guy can win. And maybe if you push back at the right moment, you remind people what boundaries really mean. Not just on a plot map, but in life. So let me ask you this. Where's the line for you? When is enough enough? When does standing your ground become the only option, even if it means going up against someone who's been making the rules? Ever had your own Patricia to deal with? I'd love to hear how you handled it or how you wish you had. Right or wrong, sometimes the only way out is straight through the mess. Let me know what you think. Whose side would you have taken if you were in my shoes?